Pump Up the Volume is a 1990 film directed by Allan Moyle. It stars Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis in her first role. This video is going to contain heavy spoilers, so if you haven't checked out the movie, I suggest you do. Also, give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Thanks. The film is set in Phoenix, Arizona, where it follows the character Mark Hunter, played by Christian Slater, who hides behind the persona of Happy Harry Hardon, a radio host who is heavily influenced by the likes of Lenny Bruce and Howard Stern. He quickly gains a cult following amongst the students in his school who feel suffocated by the restraints of society. This quickly captures the attention of teachers and parents who view Harry's ideals as toxic to the youth. As they panic to find out Harry's true identity and stop the radio station once and for all, his undeniable influence continues to grow amongst the youth. It's at this point where Mark has dealt with the pressure to keep his Happy Harry Hardon persona a secret while also dealing with his own insecurities when he's off the air. He develops a crush on Nora De Niro, played by Samantha Mathis, who is the only person in the entire town who was able to find out his identity. She pushes him to fight through his own insecurities because at this point, giving up on himself would mean giving up on everyone else that he's influenced. This is most likely why she's my favorite character in the entire film. We deal with themes such as freedom of speech, rebellion, corrupt school systems, homosexuality, and suicide. All the things that your typical teenager is going to deal with but don't have an outlet to express themselves. These are mostly white suburban kids heavily influenced by hip-hop being ostracized by the powers that be. This is a town of teenagers who are desperate to have a voice, and they're sick and tired of conforming to what society tells them they need to be. And that's exactly where Harry comes in. Christian Slater was at the apex of his career during the making of this film. He's coming off of some of my favorite films such as Heathers and Gleaming the Cube. Portraying this East Coast kid who's been dropped in the middle of this boring town, he's finding it very difficult to make new friends. So he relies on the radio and this new persona in order to express himself. Being familiar with Heathers, was a little difficult to buy him as this incel type of a character. I feel like he has way too much charisma to really make it believable. His charisma really does shine through when he is behind the mic as Happy Harry Hardon. This is the type of persona that I've grown accustomed to seeing Christian Slater portray, and I admire the level of rebelliousness that he's able to bring to the screen. Same thing goes for Samantha Mathis, who plays Nora De Niro. She never skips a beat and she's not ashamed of who she is. That's why she's my favorite character in the entire film. Some might see her as an opportunist, but what's the problem with that if the opportunity is to champion someone who is bringing awareness to a broken system? We've all had situations where we try to accomplish something, but then we get hit with doubt and this fear of consequences that derail our path. In the beginning, it seems like she has this lust for the persona of Happy Harry Hardon, but it's when she finds out who Mark really is, she really does try to push him to continue his mission. Besides the two central characters, we also get a young Seth Green in a small role who gives us one of the most awkward high-five moments in movie history. We also get another one of my favorite characters, Maz Mazzali, played by Billy Morissette. He's a rebellious punk rocker who was expelled from the school for statistical reasons, and he carries the heaviest voice amongst Harry Hardon fans. Lastly, in the standout characters, we get Miss Emerson, played by Ellen Green. She's a liberal teacher who secretly admires Harry's cause. Although the film ends with Mark and Nora being captured by the authorities, it does have a bittersweet quality to it. As they're being driven away, we get the audio of other teenagers across the country creating their own platforms and making a voice for themselves. By today's standards, this is quite common when you consider all the podcasts and YouTube channels that are available for the entire world to see. When you take into consideration the technology used into the film, it does seem quite outdated. However, if you consider on where we are right now, it's well before its time. This was Allan Moyle's third film. Now, although I'm not a huge follower of his filmography, he did go on to direct another one of my favorite films of the 1990s, Empire Records. Another film that I do wish to cover on this channel at some point. All in all, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed looking at it again to do research for this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and talk hard. Peace.